Hey,
You're up to here.
hey, welcome back to another Epidose. This is another Epidose of those crazy fools that just keep eating meat and can't shut up about it. Today we're wondering, how will this election affect our diet? We're just kind of curious. We heard some rumors. We heard some newscasts. We've been kind of disappointed. I know I kind of liked Andrew Yang, and then he got on the bandwagon about cows. Still believes the negative sort of folklore about cows destroying the environment and all that, and it made me very, very sad. But he's kind of a non-issue now. So what have you guys heard about Biden and Harris when it comes to beef and nutrition and dietary guidelines? Have you guys heard any news?
Well, the big one I want to say is, first of all, apparently people are buying up a lot of stuff. Our Costco prices have gone up. I couldn't even find Spam at the store, which was pretty disappointing because I would buy like one big thing of Spam every time I go there.
Really?
Didn't find it this time. Yeah.
That's an interesting approach. So that's just like emergency food you're squirreling away?
I'm definitely not eating any vegetable.
Yeah.
Canned vegetable. Yeah. I'll go
Why
with
is
Spam.
Spam over Velveeta sausages? That's my question.
Velveeta sausages?
What are they called?
Vienna sausages?
Vienna sausages.
Vienna
There
sausages.
you go.
Density. You get a lot more bang for your buck.
More organs. So Saladino should sponsor Spam, or Spam should sponsor Saladino.
Yeah. Well,
They
you know,
put organs in Spam?
They do.
I did not know that.
I did not know.
If you
Oh,
look-
wait, are you for real?
Yeah.
That's
For
cool.
real.
Is
There's
there
organs.
honey? Is there honey in Spam?
There's no honey in Spam.
No.
So
Okay.
maybe Saladino won't get
It's like 3 or 4 ingredients or something like that.
You
So
can-
it's
That's
not-
more than that,
He can add his own.
No, it said so. It said so on the well, of course that can be false advertising.
unless they've changed it. I remember as a kid, it had organs in it.
No.
Oh,
that's
I mean,
curious.
So this is now
I
the
don't doubt
Spam, the discussion on Spam video. It has to be a different video. We'll talk about Spam. And what I call them? Velveeta sausages?
So
Type it, hey, you're in front of the keyboard. Type in Spam ingredients while we're at it.
All right.
yeah, so the one I got is without the potato starch, so which is nice. But there is some with, so it says 6 simple ingredients. Pork with ham. Oh, potato starch is still in there. Dang it. Oh, and sugar. Obviously not the best, but who cares? This
Ooh,
is
Spam bacon.
not going to. I'm still not going to.
Make your own, right?
And can.
Spam masubi. I had that a lot. My friend's family was like half Hawaiian, so I still haven't gotten to the ingredients yet.
Yeah, Hawaiian love.
And for our international viewers, Spam is white trash food here in the United States.
And we've
Very
got Spam here as well.
Very cheap.
Is it cheap? I know.
Cheap, you know, versus the meat price. Cheap.
So my thing with Spam is that it's really salty. And how do you guys find it too salty? I mean, what do you do so it's not so salty? I mean, what was the last time you ate Spam, right?
I haven't. I've never tried it.
I suggest frying it up is my suggestion. Frying up the Spam.
So it's got a 2-ounce slice of 16 grams of fat. Ooh, no trans fat, just 30%
That's
saturated
its own
fat.
fat. That's awesome. That's
40
what I'm
grams of 40 milligrams of cholesterol, 790 milligrams of sodium. Yeah,
Sweet.
darn.
in 2 ounces. Woo! 1 gram of carbohydrate. So it looks like they put a teeny bit of sugar in it.
Yeah.
7 grams of protein. I see the nutritional. Oh, okay. It's pork with ham, salt, water, modified potato starch, sugar, and sodium nitrate.
Sorry,
So the worst is
did
the
you just say
modified
it's
potato starch.
did you just say it's pork with ham?
Pork,
Isn't
it says
ham
pork
made
ham. So like,
but but ham is made from pork.
yeah. So it's but
It's not made from donkey.
Okay, they changed it. It used to have the list of the organs on it. I think they changed. Look up the old school Spam ingredients.
Well, no, they might
It's
so it
like
says
hot
pork
dog.
shoulder and ham is what they use, but they might still mix it with organs.
Or maybe it was the Valvinos. Look up the Valvito sausages.
What?
Go ahead and type in Valvino hot sausage. By the way, Justin and I are going to start our own bologna company. It's going to Giebler and Clark Fine Bolognas,
Oh, I love the name.
and then we're gonna make our own pemmican.
Blair and Clark. That's perfect.
Giebler's calling it the pemmican prescription.
No.
Oh, nice. Austin, Minnesota. Spam town.
What?
Yeah, we've got Spam here, but it's not very popular. No one really buys it.
We'd rather eat the Vegemite.
Now, Vegemite's nice. Have you tried Vegemite?
No, what is that? Vegemite.
It's like tar. It's a spread which is
Oh, it's a
made
spread.
from yeast and salt, and yeah,
That sounds horrible.
it's actually quite nice. As a kid, I loved it.
Oh.
I'm gonna order some and try it. Just try it. I saw it at the store.
I'll send it to you.
Probably 20, 30 years ago. I saw it at the store, and I was like, so try it. I heard about it. I think most of us heard about Vegemite from the song from Men at Work. No, what was that? Yeah, Men at Work, right?
Land Down Under.
Land Down Under, yeah. I said, you come from Land Down Under. Something about a Vegemite sandwich.
No, there's no organ meat and
Yeah, that was a song, Land Down Under.
Yeah.
Men at Work.
yeah, man.
Is it not the same company? I thought the same people that made Spam made Vienna sausages. Do they not?
No, as far as I know.
Huh. The day I learned.
It keeps coming up with Libby
Libby's.
brand, but I'm sure there's other people that make the same thing.
Well, there's
there's
the
actually
Walmart
a-
brand.
Vienna sausage versus Spam.
So what is a Vienna sausage for us dingoes?
It looks like a little
Down
piece
here.
of hot dog. I don't, but
Like a
it's,
cocktail weenie.
it's a little
Okay.
little piece of sausage that comes in a can. It's canned sausage.
Oh God.
820 milligrams of sodium.
How big of a serving?
And it has
And I
less
think-
than 1 gram of sugar.
That thing would put me in a shock. That's too much sodium.
It's made with chicken, beef, and pork in chicken.
Wow.
broth. So it's like a little sausage stick made out of mixed animal parts and then floating in a broth.
So you mean leftovers?
Yeah.
So
Animal
organs.
leftovers? Yeah.
I'm telling you, they have organ. I'm just gonna look up. Does Spam have organs?
Hey, look,
in it?
I think we found a hole in the market. We got to start making canned meats with organs. It's the future. Nose to tail. Who were we talking with about nose to tail the other day? Oh, it was Austin.
Austin.
And I asked her, which animal has the best tasting nose? And she admitted she hadn't eaten.
Johnny knows that was funny as hell.
And then we could only think of one tail we'd ever tasted, and that was oxtail.
So I think the Vienna sausages are the better way to go because there's no potato starch and there's no sugar.
So
Okay.
wait,
Interesting.
what? Vienna sausage doesn't have sugar or
Or
okay.
the potato sauce. Yeah. They just added in more sodium.
Check out this site I just sent. Happy Preppers with Meat. So they talk highly about meat.
I think the whole prepper thing is kind of weird because before the TV show, everybody just called them survivalists,
Right, survivalist. Yeah.
and now it's prepper everything. And I kind of don't. Once they change the language on me, I kind of don't trust it anymore.
I don't blame you.
I raise an eyebrow.
Freeze dried beef dice. What the hell?
Freeze dried beef dice.
Hamburger in a can.
What?
Yeah.
Nice.
Wait.
Hamburger in a can.
People don't believe me when I say this, but they sell whole chickens in a can.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
I saw it at the
Sorry?
store. I went,
Whole
what?
chicken? No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
The whole chicken. It's not that big. And there's a chicken in there, and it blows my mind.
I love this. Number 2, meat is safer for humans to eat than plants. Most plants are deadly to humans, while most meat is not. Did you know 90% of plants on Earth are deadly to humans? Did a carnivore write this?
So we stumble on carnivores in strange places. Where are you reading that, Ray?
I sent it to you. That website.
Is it at the top of that happyprepper.com?
It's yeah. No, meat.
Right here.
The meat section.
Right.
Yeah.
And did it say like second meat or number 2 meat or?
Number 2, meat is safer for humans to eat than.
Oh, I see. Item
Number 1, meat is a complete protein.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize that plant nutrients are typically incomplete and hard to absorb.
Yeah. I love this. We might be omnivores, but we're born meat eaters. I love that. That is right.
Wow, so great. So when did you come across this Happy Prepper?
Just when we were talking about it, and I was like, oh, let me see what
a
a
new
good
friend.
thing.
We should have them on.
Yeah, we really should.
Yeah.
They should come on.
So
So what do you think? Beef chunks or canned hamburger meat?
Canned hamburger meat is very interesting.
Can't wait to try them
Chunks,
all.
that might not be bad.
Turkey
I know,
chunks.
right?
They got turkey chunks,
Variety case of fresh meat. Surprise.
canned bacon, which I've never
Ooh.
tried because it's usually crazy
Bacon.
expensive. And they got a bunch of Dak ham.
What the hell is Dak ham? Is that like Spanish?
Dak's a brand.
Oh,
It's just canned ham.
yeah.
Lasts a
The
long
roast
time.
beef is sold out again. Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, hey, have you guys heard Dak canned ham?
Oh yeah.
Tom has.
Yeah. They have it at the supermarket.
What's that taste like?
Just
Are
tastes
these like spam?
ham. Just like no, it's ham. It's solid like smoked ham. You never had canned ham before?
Dude, I tried to stay away from those things.
I haven't. I'm Italian. We just go to the delicatessen and buy it.
Canned ham?
Not canned ham. No way.
Okay, yeah, that's exactly right. I know.
No, we buy real ham over here.
Right, real ham, right. I don't know if I ever bought canned ham.
Yeah, canned ham is a very common item at the supermarket, believe it or not.
Interesting. Stockpile meat to deal with rising food costs. That's actually a good idea.
They sell Vienna sausages. I told you it was the better choice.
Hey, we're gonna find some deals on Vienna sausages. Hey, you know what? I'll make the argument. Like I go to one of these really big grocery stores. I think it's Winco, and they sell the really
Potted meat. Have you ever had potted meat?
only because I bought potted meat one time because I didn't know what it was, but I guess the technique was in the past they'd cook meat
Holy shit.
and they pour fat over the top to preserve it before they had refrigeration. And now you can buy potted meat in a can.
Oh, I thought this was going to take me to potted meat.
Just keep scrolling. It's probably in there somewhere.
No, it is not.
You can get potted meat, canned, an entire chicken in a can, and all that stuff at the supermarket. But what I was saying was, if I go to, I think it's Winco, you can get Bar S bologna, which, if you read the ingredients, it's just as good as any other of these preserved meats, and it's like $1 for 12 ounces. So you figure your cost per pound is pretty low.
You got canned bacon?
Yeah. It's usually really expensive, but yeah, you can get canned bacon.
Expensive.
Canned bacon, that is unreal.
By the way, Ray, you remember those air fryer ovens that they were having at?
Yeah,
I ordered one for me and Justin, and they're pretty awesome.
I saw one at Costco.
Yeah,
You're talking about the convection one, right?
yeah.
You
The
showed
one
us?
I got was the Oster. They have more than one apparently, but I ordered the Oster and just had it delivered. It cost all of $4 to have it delivered.
Did you put a steak in it to see what
Yeah,
happened?
I've cooked about 6 or 7 steaks already.
What temperature? How much time?
So if it's just one tray in there, so 2 steaks, not 2 trays, it's like, I think I crank it up to 450. You got to preheat it for like 5 minutes. Put the steak in, I think, for 8 or 9 minutes, and it's perfect.
Wow.
8 or 9 minutes for the steak,
At
and it's ready.
450.
Oh, after preheating. After preheating.
Yeah, after preheating.
How long does the heating take?
About 5 minutes.
Oh, that's too long.
So, what?
Agason Farms freeze-dried beef is $150 a pound.
But it says it's
How much? How much?
13 servings.
150, you said, Ray.
150 per
115.
pound?
It's $115 dollars for
115.
Oh, 10 pounds.
Oh, I was gonna say
1 pound.
There you go.
1 pound.
Number 10 can,
Oh,
16 ounces. Yikes.
Hell no.
But that might be, if it's freeze dried, it might be dehydrated, right? So
Yeah, I'll last forever.
it's
but
like
still,
it's
oh,
lost
man.
80% of its weight in water.
Oh, that's true.
it looks like cat food on the
But if
cover.
it's not
beautiful.
dehydrated, that's a lot of
Appetizing.
money.
All right, I am curious about how well meat is denatured like that. I wonder if it would have the same effect. Would it be able to feed you properly? Not only that, what happens to the fat in that? The most important part.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how much fat is in that meat, dude.
You want to look it up again?
Yeah, look on there and see if you can see the nutritional.
I mean, is it possible that you can freeze dry fat? Probably.
You can get it on Amazon. It's only $70 a can.
God, that's so expensive.
13 servings, 2,340 total calories, 180 per serving. What? That's not very much. Certified gluten-free, all natural, perfect food for storage, emergency survival, camping.
Sorry, I'm looking for like the nutrition facts.
Yeah.
For the fat.
It's it's not one of that.
Yeah, it's
That one right there. There you go. What do you see, Justin?
Total fat 6 grams, saturated fat 3 grams, no trans fat, 75 cholesterol, 610 sodium, 25 grams of protein. It's basically like all protein.
All protein. Yeah,
So
that's
it's
why.
6 grams of fat to 25 grams of protein, and that's for a half a cup.
You're gonna be hungry all the time.
That's 34 grams dry servings per container. So it must be it's freeze dried, right? So
Yes.
Yeah, freeze dried beef. So they freeze dried the water out of it.
That'll put you into rabbit starvation.
Yeah,
So
rabbit
you need
starvation.
to add fat to that, and obviously you probably can't eat it. You gotta cook it in water or something to soften it up, right?
Yeah, you have to
Again,
have,
Vienna sausages wins.
yes, because you have the fat. Hey,
Yeah.
spam steel wins too, but it's got the sugar and the thing. So you're right. Vienna sausages probably win.
You know, I'm gonna
All right,
I'll be
Vienna
buying some of
sausages.
that
I've
too.
talked myself into it.
I'll buy some of that too.
So every year we'll have to have a party where we eat the Spam and the Vienna
I know.
sausages that are about to expire and replace them. Right? We'll call it the canned meat party.
God, I'd be scared of doing that.
2023.
There you go. There you go. We'll do it
2023,
live.
we'll do it. We'll have a
We'll do it
spam
Save all
party.
no, because when you come here, you can't be eating canned meat, man.
I know, right? Come on.
I couldn't do that to you.
Yeah, Joe.
Although I mean, I'm
You
not
can
gonna
try one.
I'm not gonna stop you from trying a Vienna sausage and some Spam just because you're in the States. But seriously, man, you can't be,
Yeah.
we can't be making
Don't want to fill you up on that.
crappy canned meat for very long.
Right.
Got to take you out for a prime rib.
Real steakhouse. Oh, there you go. Prime rib.
There we go. Now we're talking real meat.
So
Not meat in a can, meat in a plate.
we
That's
had
right.
a little we had a little a YouTube video. It's a CNN live thing that who was it that was telling us about it? It was Ray. Was you were the one who knew about it, right?
About.
About the Kamala Harris comments on.
Oh,
Raymond.
yeah.
So
Right.
should we play that real quick?
Yeah.
That's.
All right. So this is the only thing we how this would actually play out. But all right, you guys see the screen now?
Dietary guidelines to reduce the consumption of red meat in light of the impact of the climate change.
Yeah.
If elected, will you be supporting change in dietary guidelines? And then how will you plan on implementing the changes so that people effectively change their diets?
Yeah, I mean, it's, and thank you, Carol, for your work on the question. I think of the point that you're raising in a broader context, which is that as a nation, we actually have to have a real priority at the highest level around what we eat.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Healthy eating, because we have a problem in America. And we can talk about all that we are now, the subject of this conversation. We can talk about the amount of sugar in everything. We could talk about soda. We could go on and on. So the answer is yes. But I will also say this: the balance that we have to strike here, frankly, is about what government can and should do around creating incentives and then banning certain behaviors. I mean, just to be very honest with you, I love cheeseburgers from time to time, right? I mean, I just do. And,
I love
and
them every day,
whether I have them or not. There has to be also what we do in terms of
I'm not some part-time lover.
That we will eat in a healthy way, that we will encourage moderation, and that we will be educated about the effect of our eating habits on our environment. And we have to do a much better job with that.
That's where we come in.
Much better job with that.
Because it clearly needs to be set straight.
I'm just saying, you love cheeseburgers. I mean, we all do. I don't know whether
from time to
try the
time,
Beyond Burger, the Impossible Burger, right? They try, but it's not quite the same.
I see no climatologists on the screen.
Right.
Changing the dietary guidelines.
I don't see any ranchers.
Yes.
There's nobody talking about regenerative agriculture there. So, anyways,
Let's get them more vegetarian. That's all she cares about.
yeah. So, I mean, that was a climate. Now, I find it interesting that the one person that they're talking about at the town hall seems to have a really thick French Canadian accent. So, I don't know why exactly you would be at a town hall as a U.S. senator talking to a French Canadian woman.
Right.
Because maybe she lives in California.
Yeah, there's tons of French Canadians down here.
You never know.
You never know. It's entirely possible.
Yeah, Southern California borders French Canada.
I could tell you.
Yeah, but hang on, she might have moved down there for work.
She might have.
I mean, my friend lives there. He's from here.
Yeah. Well, the only people I bump into that speak French around here are usually Vietnamese. So it's true.
And Justin.
Yeah.
Oui.
Justin.
On the occasion. Just like Kamala with her occasional cheeseburger.
So
I also occasionally speak French, apparently.
Clearly these people need to learn that the cattle industry isn't destroying that environment, and row cropping is destroying the soil. And if we just put more land back to pasture and just let cattle roam the pasture with the other animals, so you have a complete ecosystem, that's the way to fight desertification. That's the way to keep the water clean. That's the way to keep the air clean, by taking the carbon out of the air and turning it back into prairie grass like it's supposed to be. That's the way to protect the environment and stave off the global warming from the climate problem. But everybody's convinced, and they've read these stupid reports that say they talk about how much water goes to the cattle industry, when those numbers, they include all the rainfall on all the pasture land that would have fallen there anyways, that the cows may or may not even drink. It's just ridiculous. And then this speculation about how much methane they produce. So when we had millions upon millions of bison or buffalo roaming the plains, why didn't that destroy the environment? Why didn't that bring on global warming? You had millions and millions of buffalo roaming around, and before that, we had millions of giant herbivores like woolly mammoths, Columbian mammoths, mastodons, three-toed sloths, woolly rhinos, all that stuff. Wild horses, just running around eating grass and farting up a storm, and somehow that didn't ruin the environment, right? But the cattle industry oh my God, they're somehow producing. No, we actually have less cattle now than we did like 20 years ago.
Right.
And we raise them much more efficiently. So yeah, I don't know. These people are just unfortunately ignorant. And we really gotta help get the word out so they're not ignorant anymore and don't babble on with this nonsense. Right?
I totally agree.
So how are we gonna do that exactly? Do we start writing them letters? Tell them how they misunderstand the industry, how they need to learn about regenerative agriculture.
Is that what we need to do? They won't
I
Yeah.
think
listen.
you need to write it.
There you go.
That's
Right.
it. Just
Put
write.
on
Just smash everything up and then get their attention. You make it on the news.
Right.
So what's it cost to get some Antifa people to show up and harass the vegetarians? Is that
But they're
expensive?
vegan though. They'll never do it.
I know, right?
Is it
Yeah.
expensive though? I mean, what's
They have
Funny
to ask
talking,
George
Justin.
Soros.
what's a
I'm
proper
sure they're
Russian
pretty
mob?
cheap.
You know, I think, I mean, are they really ignorant? I don't know. Hopefully they're just ignorant. But it's like, why, to me, it's like, why is it a question? You know what I mean? Like, I get it's a climate summit, so it's focused on it. But I mean, like, they, like what Tom was saying, they obviously are ignorant on the subject. But it's just the like, well, she didn't really give an answer because she was like, oh, you know, we need to do moderation. We hear the old time moderation, moderation, moderation. And like she said, the occasional cheeseburger.
Limit our foods.
What does that mean? What is having an occasional cheeseburger? You know?
Right.
And you know, a cheeseburger is made of, I mean, you have the cheese, right? And the meat. I get that, but you have the lettuce, you have the tomato,
Don't forget
you
the
have
bun.
mustard, ketchup,
Sauces,
process. Yeah.
Condiments.
So it's like, okay, well, cheeseburgers made out of several different elements. And like, fine, I'm fine with deducing what's in the cheeseburger itself,
I don't want to rush things, but you're making me hungry.
but it's going into the whole climate issue, you know. And if they were to actually study that, it would be that the row cropping for the lettuce, or all the tomatoes, or all the processing and the sugar that goes in the ketchup, all that being much more dangerous or bad for the environment than the meat and cheese that is in it, you know?
I mean, go ahead.
Go, Joe.
Go ahead, Joe.
I was just going to say they all talk about the environment, talk about cows, but no one really ever talks about the cars, the industry that really cause the issues.
Yeah, well, and they don't talk.
But it's always the
about
cow
how,
farting.
you know, it's always about cow farts and stuff like that and how bad industry is. But the pharmaceutical industry is a major polluter. They pollute a great deal of, and everybody goes, well, we need medicine. So there you go. But then when you turn around and you look at it, there's all kinds of methane and carbon coming out of the ocean all the time, coming out of all the swamps and everything else, the thermal vents under the sea and stuff like that. There's all kinds of noxious stuff coming out, and much more. The more they look into it, the more they discover, right? But somehow they keep going back to plants or cows, you know, and how we need to eat more plants. And they don't know how non-nutritious plants are, how many anti-nutrients are in the plants, how many pesticides are natural pesticides that the plants generate to try and kill us. I don't know about these things.
And, you know, her just saying need a healthy diet. Like, I like her. Well, not that I like her going after sugar, but I think that's something that at least we can all kind of agree on is sugar bad, you know. But now if you translate sugar into what it really is, the glucose, then by extension, the carbs have to be bad, at least.
There you go.
With logic to follow, right?
All right.
Yeah.
So sugar's bad. How about no more high fructose corn syrup?
There you go.
No more
At least target that.
No more sugar beets.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Seed oils.
All right, let's get rid of those seed oils
Should be on
too.
the top. Should
Hey,
be on the
Canada,
top.
stop making canola oil.
Right.
And you know, she says healthy diet, but we know what that means. That means less meat, less fat, more low fat, more veggies, more soy, you know, more plant-based. So like I was talking to my sister today, And she's like, oh, my doctor is really suggesting me to go plant-based. And I was like, it's a terrible idea. And doctors aren't trained in nutrition. Nutritionists are hardly trained in nutrition.
Right.
Dietitians are hardly trained in nutrition, And so, if you really look at a nutrition science, it's pretty much pseudoscience, basically all the way around. We're barely getting to some real nutrition science, but not even enough to really make any substantial claims. But yeah, so it's like, they have no interest in what would really help the population. I think a healthy population would be good for the country. Don't get me wrong. I think, people being less angry. I mean, we've talked about, zero carb Zen and how, well, would we really riot over things if, we were a little more stable?
Why would you go plant-based if vegetarians are more likely to be depressed? They're more likely to have low vitamin D, low vitamin B, low vitamin K2. They don't get carnosine and carnitine. They don't get enough of I forgot the name of what I was going to say next. But yeah, I mean, going plant-based just creates a bunch of deficiencies that you got to try and supplement with inferior supplements. So, plant-based nutrition, the problem with it is a lot of that stuff's not bioavailable. So you get very little of it. Most people can't convert things like beta carotene from carrots into retinol. So there's no point in trying to get your vitamin A from a carrot if your body can't convert it, because it's not the same thing. Things like, folic acid is an inferior substitute for folate, right? So we clearly evolved to eat animals, not plants, and plants evolved to keep us from eating them.
Right. And I just think it's really funny that they mentioned the Impossible Burger and she's like, kind of like, ugh. Like, she's like
everybody admits it's not that good.
I mean, I've had it twice actually before Carnivore. I thought it was, I know, right? I know, sinner, right?
All right, tell us about it.
I thought it was good. Honestly, I thought it was pretty good. The two times I had it, the problem is I had a horrid migraine like the next day. It was god awful. I got like so sick the next day. It's terrible. And that doesn't happen with a regular. I can go down to the Maccas, the McDonald's, the Whack-Donalds. I can go down there, get 4 quarter-pound patties, 6 strips of bacon with cheese, gobble it down with no issue the next day or next couple days. If I go down, get an Impossible Burger, and scarf that down, I'll be suffering for like the next day and a half to possibly 3 days.
So
you're
probably gonna go get some Velveeta sausages and try that and see if you get them.
I'm gonna get Velveeta sausages and implobable burgers.
Okay. All right. Let's see if that gives you a migraine.
Oh no.
Inquiring minds want to know. So I wonder if there really is a run on spam at the market. Are we going to create a run on Velveeta?
All I know is there wasn't any spam. There wasn't any spam when I went out to buy it. So
shit. Now I'm curious. I'm gonna drive around looking for spam.
I'll send it to you, right? Because no one here eats it.
No, I mean normally we have it. It's just this time around we don't. So normally we have it.
So wait, Ray, there was no meat at your market? Is that what you were
saying? No, there was meat. There was
okay.
like some really I had to get like 13-pound ribeyes. I mean, it was weak. I hate getting light ribeyes. Now the premium one, there was some 20-pounders, but I was like, I'm not paying premium. It was like almost $13. I was like, I'm not doing that.
So yeah, so with Biden Harris, what do you think will happen to meat prices?
I definitely think it'll jack up. Not only that, my guess is because there's going to be probably unrest with them. They're going to be promoting the social justice warrior. So, you know, a lot of people are going to be more scared in their homes. Of course, we're going to have the second wave, another big lockdown, which means people are going to panic and they're going to buy out all kinds of food too. So, yeah, I don't see a way around that actually. I wanted to hear a thought from you guys. This is a little off topic, but you've ever seen where these guys would get a massive roast and dip it in butter and let it hang and dry age it?
Mhm.
You know, I have a ton of beef trimmings. I was wondering if we could do that, if I could do that, you know, put it in a crock pot, get that, and then just pretty much like the butter, but with beef trimmings, and then hang it. And would that preserve it?
Give it a try. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of
I
curious.
mean, if you're real careful when you trimmed it, I don't
Right.
see why not.
You mean dipping it in fat, like the
Yes.
juices?
And you
I
know
think-
how the beef
They
trimmings
caked it.
waxy?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I guess my fear is that the beef would absorb it too much and end up like soggy.
Well, would it go bad? That's the question. I couldn't care less if it was.
Well, that's what I
soggy.
mean. It's the moisture.
gonna-
You have to keep the moisture out.
You gonna hang it in a refrigerator or what?
No, hanging it in like in a garage.
No,
No, not won't
No.
work. Okay.
no. It'll spoil.
It'll
It's got to
spoil.
go into it.
Cold-
It's got to
cold
go into a temperature controlled
It
room
does. Okay.
or cabinet.
Gotta be.
Okay.
And the thing with dry aging is that you do lose a lot of, not a lot. You do lose a percentage of the meat. Okay.
Oh, okay.
And then you actually got to trim the meat as like in weight, and then when it's time to eat it, you actually got to trim the meat as well, so you lose even more wastage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So depending on how big your trimmings are, personally, I don't think it's going to work.
It's not worth it. Okay.
No, because I mean, you can do it in the butter. You might not lose as much weight, and you might not have to trim as much, but you still got to trim something.
Gotcha.
And it's messy and it's very messy as well.
Yeah, I figured that part. Yeah.
Well, we want to watch you try though.
No. Joe knows all about food, so I
Get
know
another
how to
refrigerator and
share
stick it in the garage and hang it in there.
And they're
There
not
you
cheap. Those fridges for dry aging, I think I was looking at one, and this is in Aussie dollars. It's about $2,000 for a decent fridge.
Yeah, but a
Yeah.
lot of people just use regular refrigerators.
Yeah, but they use bags, don't they? 'Cause you can get dry age. You can
Do
get
they
dry
do
age
wet
bags.
aging, you mean?
Some people may, but I mean, you could put it in a bag. But yeah, you could, if as long as it's cool, the right temperature, and it's dry enough in there, you can do it in the fridge. A lot of people do that. They have a second fridge and they hang meat in it. It's a thing. You look online, you'll see tons of people do it. They make their own dry aged meat because you go buy a piece of dry aged meat that's not even that old, and it's $30 a pound, $40 a pound, $60 a pound.
Wow.
So you can buy a nice meat for $10 a pound and dry age it, and it skyrockets in value and it tastes good. So people do it all the time,
Right.
and people do it just to preserve the meat.
Preserve
right?
it. Yeah, exactly.
So they buy a big
Well,
piece
that was
of
my
meat,
idea.
cut it into a little bit smaller pieces of meat, and then they dry age stuff to save it for later, and then of course it tastes really good. Some of it marbles better. Ray, I think you need to start some experiments and keep us posted.
I would love to, but I like experimenting on myself, but I don't know about my meat. I'm very picky about that.
Come on, man.
You like
For
experimenting
science.
with yourself, but you're not sure with your meat. Is that what
Exactly.
you said?
This is what he said.
I should have known Joe would say something about that. No,
That's what I
I
was
gotta be
thinking.
careful. I gotta be careful saying things.
Maybe you can hang those beef trimmings off your ears like earrings.
There you go.
Joe definitely has 2 or 3 less filters than us.
I was thinking it.
He's behaving right now. Actually, he's behaving right now, which is good. We don't want to get demonetized on this one.
Yeah, I don't know.
there we
Can,
are.
can you really see the government making any moves on the cattle industry or the meat industry or anything?
I think it will affect us here. Even though it's, you know, you've got Biden and Harris have been elected, I think they could strike a deal with our government as far as trade and possibly buy more cattle from us, which means that our prices could go down over here.
If we buy more, your prices go down?
There's more demand. Our prices will go down.
Oh, okay. That.
Yep.
I would think it'd be
Well, I
the
mean,
other
if there's
way
a,
around.
it depends on how
Because-
the deal is.
Demand goes up and your prices go down. I
Our
don't know.
prices go down, yeah,
Usually
because
for us,
because
demand
there's
goes
more
up,
there's
our
more
prices go
there's
up.
more supply.
So they'll increase the supply is what you're saying.
Yeah, they'll increase the supply,
Oh, okay.
and
They'll
because
start
there's
raising more.
and because there'll be so much more cattle out there, our prices go down. You know, when there's less cattle here, price of meat goes up.
Sure.
Okay, so when there's so much more, our prices will go down.
Gotcha.
And, you know, all that stuff's through government subsidies and all that kind of stuff anyway. So it's not like a true market. And then, well, I mean, my concern is more the lockdown. You know, we did have some supply line breakdown during the lockdown. And if we were to go more heavy lockdown again, that concerns me more rather than, you know, the factory and supply side. It's the legality side, you know. Someone coughs on, you know, at a butchery or whatever, and oh, there's testing for COVID, or the entire staff has to stay home for 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
That's my bigger concern. You know, is with legality having the manpower, because that's what happened. We didn't have people to run the farms and things like that. You know. And the processing plants, the meat processing plants, because there was a COVID outbreak at this one or that one. And so they all got sent home. And so the plant gets shut down, you know, and all that stuff. So that's my bigger concern is that.
Yeah, well, I think we all, you know, I like to remind everybody that we all are leaning towards regenerative agriculture. We want to see more regenerative agriculture. That means cattle that are raised on grass, fattened on grass, along with other animals in rotating pastures, chickens, pigs, turkeys, you know, grouse, whatever other animals can be on that land, just like it would be in nature, right? And we want our meat to be more local. We want production to be more dispersed. We want things to be decentralized. We want everything from the raising of the cattle, the butchering of the cattle, the selling of the meat, and so on and so forth. We want it to be more local and more sustainable. So that's our goal, and we think that that's going back to nature. I mean, we walked around eating mammoths. I mean, people are just starting to warm up to this idea that we basically, until the mammoths started going extinct, we ate megafauna like mammoths and other giant animals like that. And then when they started going extinct because of climatic changes, probably from a meteor impact, we had to start eating smaller animals. But that is how we evolved. We've been eating large animals for at least 3 million years as we evolved, and we did not evolve to eat plants because these plants create a bunch of toxins to keep us from eating them. And that's the problem. You start with things like refined sugars, and yeah, they're the worst culprits probably. And then you start looking at seed oils, and they're probably second, or vegetable oils. But in whole, plants are an inferior substitute for meat, particularly red meat. So that's always the message, right? And that we find more and more people do better when they eat more meat. Now we eat almost exclusively meat, right? I'll here rarely eat anything but meat, but that doesn't necessarily mean
That's me.
everybody has to do that. But if you're having problems, I mean, we know people have had MS and recovered. We know lots of people had anxiety and depression. has greatly improved. You know, I've talked about autism, my autistic symptoms. So have a number of other people. Arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, psoriasis, eczema, rheumatoid arthritis, all kinds of joint pain, fibromyalgia, polymyalgia, intestinal problems. Ray had some serious intestinal problems in the past, right? High blood pressure,
Migraines,
another serious problem. So changing your diet is really powerful, and that's really the base of the message. And you, having animals as food does not have to destroy the environment, right? Much of what's been reported in the past is grossly exaggerated, and the whole sphere of raising animals for food has not really been given a fair shake. And we hope to get the message out to the powers that be that if they're going to make new laws or suggestions or start taxing things to try and get rid of it, that they be better informed, right? That's what we're all about. And if we ate a better diet, which is a meat-based diet, we certainly won't need all the drugs and stuff that we need now. We need much fewer as far as, you know, pharmaceuticals, radiation, surgery, the whole 9 yards, all the stuff they treat us with, physical therapy, and so on and so forth. Who here hasn't had a marked improvement in their physical ability since they changed their diet? Who here doesn't have more energy? Who here doesn't have an easier time putting on muscle? Who here isn't stronger? Who here isn't healthier more days out of the year? Ray, how many sick days have you had in the last couple of years?
Actually, the last year was I hit the record of over a year. October was a year of having no cold, no flu, no nothing. So I've never done that before. For a guy who had every other month colds before. Before that, so I had a cold that year, and I had probably 2 colds the year before that.
How about Joe? How about you?
Look, I've had nothing this year, but last year I had a couple of days I was sick. I had gastro, then followed not long after that I had influenza. So it's very, but I mean, look, I've got a young boy that, you know, he goes to school and, you know, picks up something from one of the other kids and brings it home.
And how does that compare to Joe before you went carnivore?
Look, since I started low carb, it's very rare that I get sick. Okay. Before then, I didn't really get sick either. So
fair enough.
And I guess it could be because I was very active. But yeah.
Justin?
Yeah, so I mean, before carnivore, my my immune system was trash. I basically didn't have an immune system. I was raised on antibiotics. I mean, I think from like age like 4, I was like on antibiotics at least like 3, 4, sometimes 6 times a year. High doses of antibiotics due to throat infections, sinus infections, ear infections. Yeah, the whole ear, nose, and throat case. Yeah. And I mean, it's really bad. Especially when I hit puberty. I remember the sinus infections hit and they were really bad. And like, I'd miss like 2 weeks of school, like at least once a year, roughly, something like that. Now, yeah, I still get sick. So like I got sick in the summer-ish. I got sick last December, but they're not nearly like, okay, before when I would get a sinus infection, I'd go up to talk to this cute chick, I would sneeze, and then I'd shoot like green goo all over her. And like I was done. Like there's like no way, right? I'm not getting a date after that, right? Now, like, well, never mind. Not gonna make that joke. Friendly, PG-13. We're trying to keep YouTube channel going.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Are you getting any dates now?
That'd be a different episode.
Okay.
The thing, for different reasons though. The
Right.
but now like I get like the whole sinus thing and I get the pressure, but I'm not shooting out green slime, which is a huge improvement. And like, you know,
We're all grateful for that.
and I'm not like, I'm able to function, like I can work, I can hit the gym. I'm just like not feeling it as good, you know? And it lasts for about a week and then I'm okay again, you know? So I'm not like down. I don't have to go get antibiotics. You know, there's a few homeopathic things we can talk about in a different episode. But it's not nearly as it was before. I mean, twice in a year is really not that bad for me. Compared to before, it would be like 3-4 times a year, 3-4-5 times a year. And then chugging down so much vitamin C that I'm having severe diarrhea. Because if you talk to a naturopath, they tell you you're not taking enough vitamin C unless you get diarrhea. So, yes.
There you go. You're not eating enough spinach until you have intestinal distress. You're not eating enough kale until you've got, you know, you gotta run for the dunny. So, yeah, no, I mean, I used to get, I had seasonal allergies that came on quite frequently, and then I'd get sinus infections, then I'd get colds, and I'd get ear infections. You know, I probably got the seasonal flu every other year or something like that. Like constantly, it seemed normal. It seemed like everybody around you did that. It was going around at the office. It's going around at home. You're going to get it eventually, probably. You know, occasionally get the sore throat or whatever. And then now, rarely ever anything. Rarely have any allergies. I have not had a sinus infection in 3 years now. I did have a sore throat at some point, but it was like my throat hurt for a day, 2 days maybe, and it was over. But I haven't missed any work. I haven't had any flu. I haven't had any real colds to speak of. It's entirely different. And you'd think when we get older, you know, that your immune system would be getting weaker, but mine's clearly stronger. And in this time of, you know, an epidemic, you would think that people would spend more time talking about immune system, because your immune system, the first thing your immune system has 2 parts, right? And the first one just kills everything coming in. And the second one is sort of a memory of what it's dealt with in the past. But it's that first defense that kills everything that coming in that's really important in a time like this, when there's a new virus that a lot of us probably haven't been exposed to going around. And that's you know, having a strong immune system is far better than any wearing a mask or social distancing or losing your job and staying home and all that other stuff. And people don't seem to be talking about that very much. I mean, some people say, oh yeah, you take zinc and what, I don't know, vitamin D or something, or
Yeah, vitamin
whatever.
C.
But that's it. That's
5,000 milligrams till you have diarrhea.
Everybody thinks that having a strong, seems to talk about having a strong immune system like it's somehow tied to always taking a pill, right? And it's really, from what we can tell, it's about having an animal-based diet, right? And once you get your diet right, it's much easier to exercise. You once you get your diet right, you go out and you're active because you feel like being active, right? You're not forcing yourself to go to the gym. You're not forcing yourself to go on a long bike ride. You're not forcing yourself to go roll at the dojo. You're going and doing it because you're loving it, right? You feel like doing it.
And because you like showing off at your friend's pull-up bar
Yeah.
at his house.
You go to your friend's house and you keep jumping up there and pulling yourself up and showing off. Just how it is. All right, guys, any closing comments?
Don't let them do it. Those in the carnivore community, like, I know we scoff at letter writing, protesting, whatever, but I mean, you know, this whole message of you have a voice. I mean, if they don't know, then they have the excuse of not knowing. If we do our best to educate them, then they don't have the excuse, and they're just a-holes. And that's a whole different other conversation. I don't want to go there. So yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents.
Yeah, and you know, we were talking to somebody recently who works with somebody who's taken biologics for autoimmune disease, arthritis, and stuff like that. And those people are really afraid of this infection because their immune system's suppressed by drugs that they take to fight their autoimmune disease,
Right.
which makes them susceptible to this infection. And as I know, a lot of people, they find out that when they go on an animal-based diet and start getting rid of all the plants, their joint pain goes away, their psoriasis goes away, their eczema goes away. You know, Paul Saladino talked a lot about it. He had eczema so bad that he had to be hospitalized several times. You know, that's bad. You know, and then, you know, you're going to wind up taking antibiotics for the infections. You're going to take biologics to suppress your immune system. And then it just leaves you open to more infections. So, you know, people out there who are suffering, if you're paying $60,000 a year for biologics and stuff like that, you might just consider changing your diet. And I know it sounds absurd, but the answer to everything, including having a healthy immune system, isn't necessarily in taking a pill, right? It's in eating the most compact and most nutritious food there is, which is red meat, which they've tried to scare. They tried to make us afraid of fat and red meat, like it's going to give us cancer and heart disease, when in actuality, it's the exact opposite. So it's what we evolved to eat. And maybe we've become too human by thinking that killing an animal for our food is somehow inhumane. We've replaced our feelings. Our feelings have replaced the logic behind what we know to be a sound fact, that we indeed evolved to eat animals. And we can be humane by slaughtering them humanely and raising them humanely and giving them a good quality of life while they're alive. But it doesn't change the fact that we evolved to eat animals. And that is the natural way, not eating a bunch of plants. So I just like to say we are more human than human, and we have to accept it.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're not going to the Rob Zombie song?
I'm sure he agrees.
Actually, he's vegan.
Well,
Oof.
he'll learn. All right, guys. Well, let's sign off. Let's tell everybody out there, you know, eat some more meat, feel better. Send links to this out to people. Maybe send some to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris and anybody else. Andrew Yang definitely needs to listen up. So just in case he runs in the future. And
Hit
so
that like button.
hit
Smash
that
the
like
like.
button, leave us a comment,
Subscribe.
eat some meat, and whatever you do,
Don't
Don't
fall
fall
down the
down the
carb
carb
hole.
hole.